everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Zuri. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. This video is for us faithful people. You know, we do things for everyone else. You know, we either sometimes get mistreated for simply being good people, or we're never given the love that we give to other people, you know, on a constant or consistent basis. Either way that you fit into this spectrum of being the life of the party and being everyone else's hero, you know, we tend to deny ourselves and make sure that we care for others, because that's just one of the things that we do and are sometimes, in many cases, forced to do in many situations. This is a therapy session for all of us. Today's therapy is going to be mostly in the form of posts that I've recently seen while scrolling through Instagram, and I wanted to talk about this and bring this up because as faithful people and people that, you know, kind of care for everyone else, we all need to just figure out how to navigate that, you know. And I feel like this will be a very great therapy session for all of us to really just be able to relate to that expectation. So the first post is, imagine being loved the way you love. I mean, just imagine, like, for example, even church, you know, church is such a make and break situation for me. And I love it because I love what I do, especially because I do it for God as well. And, you know, I get to do something that I love. I get to do, you know, things in ministry and serve God, which is a win-win. I do music and media and other things as well. And so that's what I love to do. But when it comes to being the very thing that kind of runs my entire family, you know, it's my parents' job, you know, the difficulty of it all and throwing in, you know, different situations and people into it, you know, it causes you to want to walk from everything that you love to do. And so, you know, it's a weird thing because it's like the same thing that you love is the same thing that you can't stand. And so, yeah, it's a very weird thing. But there's very few people in my life who have mastered reciprocation, you know, like actually treating me the way that I treat them. And which is actually lovely because, you know, and these people know who they are because I've told them, and it's just beyond words to feel the love that I give, and just that people have just the similarity of my heart, you know, and the way that I care and love people. And it is such a huge blessing to have. Now, number 2, this one, yeah, let's get into it. Number 2 is, you can't disrespect me and then need me again. When I saw this post, I was like, absolutely. Because you can't intentionally, purposely disrespect me and then need me to be available to you. Like, no, you've already crossed the line when you came for me and did what you wanted to do. Let me tell y'all something. I do not play when it comes to me. I am in a season, I've always been in a season, but I am in a season where I cannot afford to have anybody coming for me unnecessarily, because I just don't have time for that. Once you've crossed the line, you've pushed the button, and you've said what you've already said, and you've done it out of order, and it was your intent to do so, I ain't playing that ever again, because I will invite you to take your exit. I'm just saying. Now, if you acknowledge like the Bible say, if you confess your faults, you know, and you come to me and you acknowledge what you did and you apologize, then of course I'm good. And I also want to say this. I have forgiven people who have not apologized to me. I just want to make that clear as well. So I ain't holding no grudges against anybody, because if you don't forgive, that's between you and God, because healing is in your hands. Number 3, sorry to say this, but being a good person doesn't get you loved. It gets you used. Now, let me explain, because I'm gonna share, because I'm very neutral about this. So I agree because as for the good and beautiful person that I am, the people that appreciate me, that part of the squad that appreciates me, they don't waste my time and they don't break my heart, and there's also sometimes people that don't necessarily like me or have hidden agendas behind my back, and they will do anything to try to throw different distractions in the way to stop whatever I'm doing. Number 4, humans that can't find happiness will do everything to ruin yours. Now, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I do right by people. Therefore, I'm not gonna call any names for this post because, and it's hard to get away from the people that do that to me, especially because in my case, it's the permanent people in my life that I can't get rid of. I think y'all know what I'm trying to say, but yeah. Because there's so many instances where people who are miserable in their own life they just come to mess up stuff in my life, and they try and it don't work. And I also think it has to do with jealousy as well, because as a good person, there are a lot of friends that I have, and that genuinely love me, and outside haters or whatever look in into like, oh, she has all these friends and da 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 da, and that jealousy will slap them right smack dab in the face. Okay, number 5. This one hits home for me. This one says, I went from explaining myself to just saying okay because it's a waste of time. Child, let me tell you something. When I know that people are not mentally or emotionally able and willing or capable of hearing my side of the story, even though they love me, I'm done. Because if you sincerely love me enough to ask me, what you did to me, then you should have that same energy to be willing to have a conversation about what happened so that we can resolve the issue. But the truth is, people don't want to be exposed because sometimes people don't see anything wrong with their actions. And here's the thing that we got to understand. The people that love you may not always care, if that makes sense, about your perspective. And that's the part where I start to separate how I am being treated versus how I deserve to be treated. And the last one, number 6, that glow hits different when God turned that pain into peace. Let me tell y'all something. Listen here. I've been through so much in my life, especially the past 6 years. Like, God does not let me sit down from anything. It is terrible, but no. There are so many times where I could have responded how I wanted to, but because God just took over, it was like, I can't respond how I want to respond because God has just given me this great peace about it that there's no need for that response or for that reaction. In my life, God sends peace in the form of people to be with me through different things and situations. And it's so crazy because it's always right on time. I have never had to go through a major life moment without anybody. God has always just put people right there for me. Through a hurricane, our city was messed up. So, me and my squad at that time, we stuck together through everything because when some of us lost everything, we really started to see how important life was. And then the following year in 2019, after 2018, in 2019, I lost my grandmother, and that was tragic. And then I had surgery 2 days after she passed away. That was terrifying, and it was tragic. It was terrifying. It was something I never expected, but my church besties, my church sibling squad helped me get through it. My brothers and sisters, and they really showed up for me in a season that I could not show up for myself because I was just completely out of it. And then 2020 and the pandemic, My squad and I, we stuck together. Everything was virtual, so we were always on Zoom calls, always checking in on each other, and that's just how we stayed connected. And there were many emotional Zoom calls, and different things like that because, we just missed being in each other's presence, as well as the fact that life was changing and, things were super different for us. And then 2021, I did physical therapy, and I was doing physical therapy during my first 2 months of high school, and that was very difficult to my schedule. And I had lots of support during that time, and just people that would help me out, and just make my schedule a lot easier for me. And it definitely pays to have a great squad. Sometimes peace to me, that God gives, is in the form of music and worship, especially when I find lyrics that match the situation that I am experiencing. And sometimes God's peace for me is just not having to be available to anyone, being in my room by myself. And that's why when people ask me after the fact what's wrong, I'm like, child, God already took care of it. There's nothing you can do now because, I've moved on from that. And, so yeah. So to all of the faithful people, all of the people that are everyone else's heroes, everyone that makes life easier for everyone else but yourself, for people who feel, inadequate sometimes of being a good person because it's like nothing you do is enough, especially when there's people who strive and look for everything that you do wrong. I understand what it means to be in every position of that, and be in the position to fight for yourself because the life that you want to live feels so far from you. And to the people that support us, faithful people who do everything for you, we love and appreciate you, because being the lifesaver, the defender, the homework helper, the problem solver, the conflict resolver, and being and showing up through everything that we experience just in our own lives is sometimes very difficult, and we may not always say it, but it is very difficult. So thank you for listening to us with open ears and without judgment. Our generation strays away from talking to adults about situations. Our generation, our higher authorities are not always willing and understanding of how we feel in this time and in this space. And so for us to be, I think we find our greatest security is in each other and with people our age who experience the same thing. And also to us faithful people here, ask God to help you properly deal with people who don't understand your struggle, because it's just like, I wish they would understand this and this and this, and not everyone's going to understand the journey of what it takes for you to show up and be present through every single thing that you're going through. And so we have to ask God how to deal with, difficult people, as well as setting boundaries for ourselves, because it's good to help and it's good to encourage others, but we can't be anything to anyone else if we haven't been everything to ourselves first. So that's it for today's vlog. Just little therapy session for all of us faithful people who do a lot for other people, and just sharing love and support and encouragement, and just being relatable, because I feel like that's a very important thing in this season for us kids, is because we can't really tell higher authorities different things that go on in our lives because they just don't get it, and I definitely understand that. And so yeah, just wanted to say that it's okay, say that I understand, and also just have this therapy session to talk about it, because it's something that we need to discuss. So hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later.